No. We're no. That. Ooh. That might do. Ooh. Now see, this is some good lighting. I hope it turns out as good as it looks on my tiny little screen that I'm looking at. If you ever wonder why I look over kind of that way, I'm looking at myself. So, alright. I like this. I'm in a good mood. Alright. We got, the sun's going down a little bit. We might have to turn on a light after a while. Alright. I think I'm going to consider the last video to be like the season finale. Right? Until things start going again, season finale right there. I think that's actually a really good place for the TV show The President. Right? Because it would be, you know, it'd be a fucking Donald Trump show. So The Apprentice, The President. Right? Great season finale. Fucking State of the Union address, Nancy rips the shit up. Fucking Iowa caucus is just a shit show. And everything is just looking like shit for the fucking Democrats. And the president is just winning. Right? So, I think that's a great, like, season finale point. So, today's video, I would like to tell a couple of stories. I think these are fun little anecdotes. I hope they're entertaining to you. They were entertaining as hell for me to live through, so whatever. Yeah, I'd like to share a couple of little anecdotes with you. I know I've said before that I used to do LARPing. I was a vampire. No, I never wore the fangs. The people that did were fucking douchebags, and generally we told them, fucking dude, your character's not seriously walking around with fangs popping out all the time. Like that was fucking generally a problem, and then we would like make them take flaws because, right? Because we were serious. We were hardcore gamers. We wanted to play what vampires would be like hanging out at the college campus, you know, at the fucking student center on a Saturday night, having their city meeting. We wanted to play out what that would be like. So if somebody was walking around in a big fucking trench coat in August, you know, we'd look at them like, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm an elder of my clan. You wanna know why I'm smarter than you and an elder of my clan, and why you're probably gonna die young and stupid, vampire child? Because I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I know I can't feel that it's blistering fucking hot, but I know that humans can feel that it's blistering fucking hot. And if I'm walking around in a giant fucking trench coat, they're gonna think something might be up with me. So yeah, we were fucking hardcore as shit, right? Like we were, you know. But for me, you know, I didn't care about being a vampire. I didn't fucking care what I played. I played vampires. I played werewolves. I played fucking fairies. I played I never played a gay character, but I did play a fairy. I played a wraith, and I'm gonna tell you the wraith story after the first story. I'm gonna tell you how I got into it. Right? I was in this group called Dagger Hair. And we did medieval battle reenactments. We did full-on, full-contact fighting with buffer weapons that we would make look like swords. What a buffer weapon is it's a piece of PVC pipe, it's cut to length, and then you put camping foam over it, right? Put a nice cover on it, you know, make a pommel out of it and stuff like that. And, you know, it looks like a weapon. And then we'd go out into the fucking, you know, out into the field at the college campus, and we'd beat on each other with sticks. Like, it was fucking hysterical fun. And then, you know, on the weekends, we'd get all stupid and get dressed up in our garb and go out and fucking do live-action D&D, right? And, you know, I met a lot of people doing that were into all sorts of different shit. and a couple of guys, we were hanging out at the bar after practice one night. Alright, so anyway, shit, I gotta remember that I'm not giving out fucking landmarks in my general area. Anyways, we're at the fucking bar after practice, right? And I'm talking to these two guys, and they were talking about the vampire game that they play on the weekends. And I'm like, you guys playing vampire? What are you playing? And they're like, we're doing LARPing at the campus. And I'm like, LARPing? No shit. Because I heard of people doing LARPing, and I was like, that sounds like a lot of fun. Like, you get up and act it out. Like, you get up and act it out. Like, it's not sitting around a table rolling dice. You get up and act it out. I'm like, that sounds fucking cool. I'm like, well, hell yeah, that sounds like fun. And they're like, you want to play? And I'm like, eh. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to play a whole lot, because, like, I'm kind of past my role-playing days. As I say, dagger hair practice, So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, man, maybe I'll think about it. And they were like, well, we really want somebody to play the Tremere Elder. And I went, oh. Because Tremere is like my clan. They're my fucking clan. I love the Tremere. Their whole background is amazing. I just think the clan structure is fantastic. I don't know why I was just really drawn to the Tremere. Plus they do magic. And it's cool. So I'm like, oh, Tremere Elder. And they're like, yeah, you used to play Tremere, didn't you? And I'm like, you fucking know I did. And they're like, yeah, we need somebody really good to come in and play like a for real fucking Tremere Elder, because we need to get like people fucking understanding that they need to understand the game. And I'm like, alright. I'm like, I'll think about it. And they're like, we could make a character up right now. And I'm like, really? And I was like, yeah, we got books in the fucking car. So they ran out, grabbed some books, came in. We grabbed paper and pencils and we're sitting around and making my fucking character, right? And they're telling me all this shit to add. Like, they're like, okay, we're just going to tell you what to put on the character sheet. And I'm like, well, can I see how the character creation goes? And they're like, just fucking worry about it. We're storytellers. Just fucking, we're going to tell you what to put on the sheet. So they just start telling me to do the fucking character. And I just write on the character sheet. And I'm like, and they gave me all manner of shit that I'm like, why would I want that? And why would I not want this? And what do I need that for? Like, you know what I mean? And they're like, no, it's shit you would have. And I'm like, alright. So I'm writing all this fucking horse shit down. And I'm thoroughly not thrilled with playing this character. But I'm like, hopefully I can, like, talk somebody and let me make a character myself. I'm like, I don't know. They were telling me they were storytellers, so I'm like, they're running the game. I can't walk up to one of them and be like, can I remake my character? Because I think it's shit. Because they made the fucking character. So, I'm like, alright, fucking hell. So I show up, and, they tell me where to go. I show up on Saturday night at the correct time. I walk in, and I'm looking around for those two assholes. Those two assholes are not in fucking sight. So I'm like, great. And I see this big dude, mountain of a man, sitting behind a table, and people are going up to him with pieces of paper, giving them to him. He's looking at them, telling them shit, writing shit down, and then handing him this fucking piece of paper back. And I'm like, I'm new to LARPing, but I'm guessing he does something with character sheets, like approval or some such. So, I walk up to the guy and I go, hi, I'm looking for these two assholes. And he goes, those two assholes are going to be fucking late. Who are you? And I tell him who I am. Well, I guess I could tell you who I am. I'm Andy. And he goes, alright, what are you here for? And I'm like, they want me to play the Tremere Elder for this thing that they're doing. And he goes, that. And I'm like, great. And he goes, you have a character? And I'm like, and I throw down this character, and now I'm embarrassed to give him the character. And he's looking at the character, and he's like, who the fuck made this character? Did you make this character? And I'm like, no, man, I didn't fucking make that character. I'm like, the two assholes fucking made the character. I gotta really watch fucking my shit. Like, two assholes made the fucking character. I did not make that character. I would not have made that character. And he's like, well, you can't have this and this and this, and you don't fucking need that, and he's just starts striking the whole fucking character out, and I'm like, and he finally winds down, and I go, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. How about you throw that piece of trash up and put it where it goes, and give me a book and a piece of paper and a pencil, and I'll come back with something appropriate. And he goes, alright. So he fucking threw that shit away and gave me a book and a piece of paper and a pencil, and I went and made a fucking character. And I came back to him, and I handed him the character sheet, and he looked at it, and he looked at me, and he looked at it, and he goes, I have all sorts of problems with this, because you power leveled the shit out of your character. And I said, yes. And he said, but I see a lot of personality in your character, so I'm willing to let it slide. And I'm like, cool. He hands me the character sheet back, and I'm like, are you like in charge? And he's like, yeah, I'm a storyteller. I'm like, what's your name again? And he goes, my name is Dennis. Now, why do I say Dennis's name but not anybody else's name? Because Dennis started this channel with me. If you wind way back in the Wayback Machine, back to the actual EgoCast podcast, the first videos ever published on this channel, it's me and Dennis. So, Dennis doesn't mind if I talk about me and Dennis stories. So, and this is the most beautiful Dennis story of all. This is me meeting Dennis for the first time. Dennis immediately got kind of an admiration for me. I had given him a hunk of shit. He told me it was a hunk of shit directly. I acknowledged it was a hunk of shit. I told him to throw it the fuck away. I'd like to make my own character. And I brought back a beautifully crafted, with a backstory and everything that you can actually see in the character sheet, power level to all the shit character, because I'm supposed to be playing a goddamn Tremere Elder, right? But he still needs to have, he still needs to be a character. So, he needs to have quirks. So, I go out into the game. And, I just kind of randomly start talking to people that I know are in the game. And I start pumping people solely for information, which they just so freely give me. Like, as soon as I walk up to these people, they just start immediately talking vampire talk shit to me. And I'm like, alright, cool. So, I'm like, I guess you're in the club. And, so, I'm right about to get my way led to the Tremere Primogen. Tremere Primogen being the, leader of the Tremere for the city. There's the Tremere of the city, and they have their own little rankings and stuff like that, because everything runs in a pyramid. So, Primogen is the top of the city. Now, in Elder, when I was playing, the Elder, capital E, is a rank kind of pretty far above, actually, a Primogen. Because an Elder in the Tremere would be more of a national figure as opposed to a city figure, right? That would be even above a state figure, So, elders were not to be fucked with, and elders could just kind of snap your fingers and you'd die. That's why I had to power level the shit out of my character, because he wasn't willing to give me any bonus points to work with because I was playing a fucking elder. And I kind of argued that first. I'm like, well, I'm playing an elder. And he's like, fuck you. And I'm like, alright, whatever. So I power leveled the shit out of the character. And I did all manner of cheesy tricks too. Yeah. I gathered together all the little Tremere by getting to the fucking Primogen, and I say, get your fucking Tremere together, we're gonna have a meeting, We're having our meeting together because I'm here, and in case you didn't realize that, that's an event. So, let's get all of us together before we go in and sit before everybody else of the city, This is pre-city meeting shit. What are you all doing, So she gathers everybody together. I have 4 people. I have clan power of 5. That's not actually a rating. It's just I have myself and 4 other people that I can command to do things, right? And I'm like, that's pretty good, you know, for a group of like 30 people to hold 5 of them. That's a 1/6 of the group. I can work with that. So I say, all right. I said, you know, it's very nice to meet all of you. I understand this is my first time in your lovely city, and I can't wait to meet all of you. But first, of course, as always, I would like to begin with reciting the oath. And I go, Primogen? And she's like, and I'm like, this is where you stand and recite the oath. And we'll follow along as you do. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, first of all, when you're out of character, first of all, you just died. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I just killed you. Like, no matter what happens, one of 2 things is going to happen next. You're a Tremere Primogen that just told me she has no idea what the oath is. I'm going to kill you or die trying. So, right, like, are we about ready to do that? Or do you want to go, I need help for a second, out of game? And she goes, I need help for a second, out of game. And I'm like, alright. You don't know what the fucking oath is? And she's like, no, what the fuck is the oath? And I'm like, did you read about the Tremere? Or did you just go, oh, that's a funny sounding word, I'll write that where it says clan. Like, what, did you, what? And she goes, no, I didn't read about him. And I'm like, come on. I'm like, did anybody read about him? And one dude's like, I did. And I'm like, do you know what the fucking oath is? And he's like, I do. And I'm like, cool, you're Primogen now. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yes, you're Primogen now. Said, for whatever reason, miss, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I just don't like you in the role of Primogen. You seem too young to me. I'm not sure what it is, but for some odd fucking reason, I just have a feeling in my mind that this person should be Primogen and you should not. And she's like, okay. And he's like, and I'm like, now would you like to stand and recite the oath? And he's like, I don't actually fucking know it by heart. And I'm like, me neither. So I pull out my book and I'm like, here, right, you know. And he's like, all right. So he fucking reads the oath. We take the oath. And I'm like, all right, now we all kind of understand the clan that we're in. And everybody's like, yeah. And I'm like, now, okay, here's the question. And I'm going to offer this to you. You can decide you don't want to be a part of what is about to happen in this game. And you can go to the dude, the big guy in there, and say, I need to make a new character. And just make a new character. You know, like, it's not that bad. It wastes an hour of your night, and you make a new character, and then you go back into playing the game. Or you can run the chance that you're going to say something or do something wrong and not ask for help before you do, and I'm going to kill your character. And they're like, I want to see where this goes. And everybody stayed, and I'm like, fucking cool. I didn't lose any power from, like, exposing them to what, you know, like actually being the Tremere was going to be. Because my Tremere characters are generally hardcore traditionalists. And I don't... At some point or another, they either start, or they become, or they end as hardcore traditionalists. And this dude was an elder. So, even if he just started as a hardcore traditionalist, he's gotten to the point where he's an elder. He's gone back and forth enough times that now he's a fucking hardcore traditionalist. Because he's an elder, and being a hardcore traditionalist means that your underlings have to respect you a fuck ton. So, all elders are hardcore traditionalists. So, of course, I'm now walking around with my little ducklings, right? And I've got my little ducklings with me. They don't ever get to leave my side because they're very young. and they weren't raised right. So they're all kind of my children now. And they're walking around. And that's actually a term, children. Like a sire makes a vampire. It's their child. So they're all my little children now. I've adopted them all. I'm going to teach them how to be good Tremere, right? So they can't ever leave my sight. This is actually what I told them. And I'm walking around with them pretty much all night long. And, you know, I'm just kind of generally talking to people. Just kind of getting to know everybody. And introducing my clan to them, right? And telling them, if you need anything, let me know. And, you know, right? And so after a while, I'm kind of like, all right, children, I have important business in this city. You don't know what it's about. You don't need to know. What you need to know is, you now need to take what you have seen me as for all this time that you've been following me around, and you need to transfer that vision to your primogen. And follow your primogen. And he will lead you until, at whatever point, he has more important shit to do. And then he will tell you to fuck off. And then I turned around and I left. Because I had shit to do. Now, it's getting a little dark. Ow! Fuck! Alright, yeah. I don't like it. It's just killing me. We'll put the... There. There. It's a little bit... It's going to be a little yellow for a second, I think. But whatever. It'll adjust. The color will adjust. Where was I? No, yeah. I would fuck off. I had shit to do. I had tasks. I'm not sure if I mentioned that I had tasks to complete. That was the reason why I was playing the Elder, because I had tasks. I had 2 tasks, right? This was told to me. We're going to, like, flashback to the bar. We got 2 things we need you to do. We kind of fucked up with this storyline. It's a stupid fucking storyline, but it's a loose end in a lot of ways with a lot of people's characters, so we need to fucking clip it off. Somebody stole a point of blood of really, really low generation blood. And I'm like, why would you do that storyline? And they're like, we just got to get rid of it. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And they're like, you stole it. And I'm like, I stole it. And they're like, yeah, you stole it. But we could never find a way to play the fucking character, and nobody looked hard enough to find the fucking character. So now you're just going to come in and get rid of it. And I'm like, all right. And then the other asshole goes, and we want you to kill this dude's character. And I'm like, I'm not an assassin, I'm an elder. And they're like, yeah, but we want you to kill this dude's character because his character's an asshole, and we just need him out of the fucking game. He's been fucking up the game with this character. And it's not the guy. The guy's fine. It's just his character's gotten out of control, and we just need his character fucking dead. And I'm like, what did you give him? You know, because I'm like, what the fuck did you do in your game that you've got all this shit floating around that nobody gives a fuck about, and that's just fucking things up? Like, how did you let this... You're the storytellers. How did you let this shit happen? I found out they weren't really storytellers. They were just fucking morons. And like, the one guy was playing as the prince, like the top dude in the city, and the other guy was just a fucking other elder from a different clan. And I'm like... Dennis is running the fucking game. But somehow Dennis like just does stuff and doesn't give a shit. Like, he throws out storylines and just, where they go. Like, he didn't care. These guys cared. The loose ends in people's storylines. These guys' characters, right? They're pawning this shit off on me. They're getting rid of this blood point by giving it to my character, so that my character can get killed after killing this dude's character. That's their grand plan, right? Because they don't want me playing as an elder either. Because that would be like letting that dude's character just hang out and fuck shit up. So they don't want that to happen. And I said, alright, fine. I said, I'll get rid of this blood point for you, and I'll deal with this dude's character. I've already got an idea. But if I can make it through this, and come out clean on the other side, can I keep playing the elder? And they're like, sure. I'm like, alright, fine. So I had 3 goals. Deal with this point of blood, deal with this fucking dude, live. Simple, right? So, I established my power base first thing. I get my people together. I let them know who's in charge. I let them know that they will be tapped when needed. And I let them know that I got shit to do. And so it's kind of like, don't fucking bother me. I will be bothering you. If I need to. And so I start walking around. And I start looking for people that have a much higher level of dominate than I do. Which happened to be one of the assholes. He's playing the Gangrel Elder. And he's got a retardedly high level of fucking dominate. So I go up to him and I start talking to him. And he's like, alright, our characters kind of know each other. Our characters kind of know each other. And I'm like, alright, our characters know each other. He's like, yeah, I was the one you got the blood point from. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah. He's like, so I'm expecting that you're going to, like, do something Tremerish with it. And I'm like, a stolen blood point. I'm like, no, man. I have absolutely no fucking use for a stolen blood point. It's like stealing an empty armored car. What are you gonna do with it? You can't fucking, what do you sell it to the fucking armored car company? Look, I even painted it for you. Really? You're gonna know one of their trucks was stolen. Because only one truck is ever gonna be stolen. Because it's not like you can fucking do anything with it. You cut it down for scrap if you want to take the time. But that's a lot of fucking time for scrap. Like, so, yeah, that's why people don't steal ambulances. What are you gonna do with it? Like, so, I'm like, okay, this is why it's a stupid fucking storyline. Stealing a ridiculously low blood point, it's a stupid fucking, nobody steals that. You quest to get that. And you earn that through conquest. Like, you don't steal that shit. You get it in a way that makes it yours. Right? So, yeah, you're the guy that gave it to me. No, I have no fucking use for this. So I'm giving it back to you. And, like, I'm like, no, I have no use for this. I'm giving it back to you. And he's like, that wasn't our deal. And I'm like, well, I'm going to need a little bit of help getting rid of this then. And he's like, alright, fine. He said, what do you need me to do? I said, all I need you to do is find a very special person that is useless to you. And make them remember stealing this and hiding it in a very specific place. And he goes, what specific place? And I said, let's go find one. And we went and found a specific place to hide it. And I said, just make him remember stealing it and hiding it there. You can do that, right? And he's like, I think I can. So he went and found that very special character, the guy that I was supposed to kill, and made him remember things. Right? And so now he has this memory, and then all of a sudden we have to go to the city meeting. The prince calls the city meeting. It's dark now. Prince calls the city meeting. So we all get together at the city meeting, and right, we have our city meeting, and the prince, has found out that there's this point of blood that has been stolen and it needs to be found. Apparently it's in the city. And I raise my hand and I say, sir, as you may or may not know, I am an elder of my clan, and I am tasked also with finding this point of blood. As you know, we specialize in that sort of thing, and I want to make sure that it wasn't any of mine that would take it, and I want to make sure that it gets found and returned to its rightful place. And he's like, awesome, we can certainly use your help. Do you have any suspicions? And I said, well, I've been talking to people in the city, and I've mentioned it from time to time, and nobody seems to really know what's going on with it. And he's like, And I'm like, but the Gangrel elder, he seemed to have a recollection of somebody that he thought might have been suspicious. And so the prince looks at, the one asshole looks at the other fucking asshole, and he goes, what do you have to say, elder? And the Gangrel elder says, I think that guy fucking stole it. Because he's an amazing fucking, improvisational actor. So he, obviously, the dude's fucking freaking out. So what do you know? He says, well, I don't know. Somehow, I have a memory of taking it and hiding it somewhere. Very specific. But I don't know how that memory got there. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And a couple of people were already like, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, this is metagame, motherfucker? Really? Is this what you guys do in this game? And I look at Dennis, and Dennis is like, no. And I'm like, what? Can we strike it from the record? What the fuck do we do from here on out? And Dennis is like, well, we'll strike it from the record then. You can't fucking say that shit, dude. We talked to you about this shit. You can't metagame that shit. And he's like, alright, fine, whatever. I have this memory of fucking stealing it. Yeah, I stole it. And I'm like, well, you don't have to just fucking admit it. Like, you just... At least let us pull it out of you a little bit. Like, come on, really? Whatever, dude. I don't give a shit. You're killing my character. It's fucking, you guys have been doing this for fucking weeks. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So he's pissed off. And I'm like, alright, whatever. And I'm like, well, I didn't know it was all like that. And I'm like, oh, this is my first game. So I'm like, I'm not getting into the drama. Right? God, how long have I been rambling for? Half an hour. I haven't even told the story I wanted to tell. So, he's like, alright, so the prince says, can anybody in this city tell if this man is lying or not? And I went, I can. I can perceive his aura and tell you if he's lying or not. And he goes, awesome. I said, you remember, you have to ask a very specific yes or no question. And he goes, did you steal the point of blood and hide it? And I'm like, that's very good, my liege. And the guy goes, I have a memory of doing that, but I had it earlier today. And I'm like, and he's like, dude, you can't fucking do it, yes or no? And he's like, yeah, I fucking did. And he's like, but I swear to you, I didn't. And he goes, so you're claiming innocence? And he goes, yes, I'm claiming innocence. And I'm like, you could have done that in the fucking first place. I'm like, alright, whatever. So, the prince looks at me and he says, he's claiming innocence. He says he didn't do it. Is he lying? And I do the test with him. It was rock, paper, scissors. I do the test with him. I win, right? And I go, are you lying? And he goes, you fucking know I'm not lying. And I'm like, you got it, dude, you whisper it to me. Are you lying? And he's like, no, I'm not lying. And I go, he's lying, sir. And he fucking freaks out. What the fuck? I told him I wasn't lying. And Dennis goes, look, man, you told him you weren't lying. He told him you were. He lied. And everybody went. Like, I guess it had never occurred to them that even if you win the test, and even if you get the correct information, that doesn't compel you to give it. You can fucking lie. And I lied. And he went, alright, sentenced him to death. And I said, can I have his blood? And he said, you know what? Sure. And I was awarded his blood. So I dealt with the point. We heroically, the Gangrel Elder and I, we heroically found the point of blood, right? Which, let's be honest, nobody's really going to know what it is unless they actually use it. So I had an excess of blood, and I do have use for a very low generation blood point, just not a stolen one. So I did some mumbly fucks, you know, and we returned the blood point. Everybody was happy. This dude's character was dead. These two assholes were happy, and I lived. And Dennis comes up to me that night, and he's like, dude, that was some pretty slick shit. And I'm like, really? And he's like, no, not really, but everybody thought it was some pretty slick shit, and fucking, it was the best role-playing I've seen around here in fucking months. And I'm like, cool. And he's like, you should come by my place tonight, we're gonna hang out. And I'm like, alright, cool. And, you know, he leaves. And, like, I had people coming up to me going, man, that was fucking crazy. And I'm like, you know, my clan, they're all coming up to me going, that was fucking crazy. And I'm like, yeah, shit's gonna get fucking wild from here on out. I'm gonna teach you guys that you can, like, actually lie and like, your characters can lie. And everybody's like, fuck you, man. We just, I don't know. I don't know why we thought it compelled you to tell the truth. And I'm like, I don't know either. But you can lie. You know, it's role-playing, dude. You play the role. There was no fucking way I was going to tell him the truth. You know, like that, because that was what was going on. So, you know, yeah. That was how I met Dennis. And people were like, Dennis invited you to his place? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, dude, that's cool. And I'm like, this is like an exclusive club? And they're like, fuck yeah, the most exclusive club. You're hanging out with Dennis. And I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, dude, that's fucking cool. And because it's getting late, this is turning into a long video, and that's not actually the story that I wanted to tell. It's not the story that I'm titling it as. I just want to tell that story so that you can kind of see where I was at in my skill in my first game with him ever. That was the first time I met Dennis. I went over to Dennis's place, and now I'm not going to share with you guys what we did. I'm going to leave that a mystery. I'm going to say, however, that while it was a lot of fun, it wasn't as fucking amazing as everybody kind of made it out to be. So, whatever. And Dennis will admit that too. He'll be like, yeah, I never understood why the fuck people treated me the way they did, but everybody just looked up to me, and I'm like, whatever. I'm like, you're a cool guy, you know. He's still my friend decades later. Like, I think we were friends like over 20 years. So, you know, yeah. It's my dude. But yeah, that was the first time I ever met Dennis. Now, let's fast forward a couple of years, I think. And, you know, stories came and went, storytellers switched around. And there was one point where a couple of people, other assholes, had an amazing idea for running essentially 4 games at the same time that not only could but would interact with each other. They wanted to run the big 4 White Wolf. They wanted to do vampire, werewolf, fairies, and wraiths. And I'm like, oh, what a shit show. Every time somebody tries to do that, it's a fucking shit show. You want to either play as fairies, or you want to play as wraiths. Because if you play as fairies, you don't really have to deal with the riffraff bullshit. Like, the fairies kind of do their own thing. The fairies can't actually even really be around the werewolves and the vampires, technically. Like, they really can't. Like, they start soaking up this thing called banality, which kills them after a while. So they really can't be around them. They're evil things, so that fairies don't like them very much. So you have to play an unseelie fairy, and they're a lot of fun, but I'm like, I played a fairy. I want to play Wraith. And Dennis was like, I'm running the Wraith. And I'm like, you're running the Wraith? And he's like, fuck yeah. And I'm like, I want to play the Wraith. And he's like, you got it, buddy. So, we all make up our characters, right? And Dennis had decided that he was going to actually run us through our harrowing. A harrowing is when the spirit wakes up and becomes a Wraith. It's a very traumatic event that you go through. Because you wake up and you become a Wraith. Like, it's not, like, there isn't anything harrowing about waking up and becoming a Wraith. It's what happens for, depending on how long your harrowing lasts, however long your harrowing lasts, the fucking experiences you go through. Waking up in oblivion. And all the crazy shit that goes on there. Right? Just the fucking crazy shit that goes on there. So, it's pretty nasty. And he was like, I'm going to run you guys through your harrowing. You're all going to, the whole group of you, I think it was like 6 of us, the whole group of you are going to wake up dead and go through your harrowing. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And we were going to do it like LARP / tabletop style. We were going to sit around a table and kind of table talk it out because role-playing that live action is difficult. So, we were going to do it tabletop, and he was going to run us through waking up and then getting here. To the campus where we're then going to play the game, right? And so we all make up our characters, right? And I wanted to I pulled Dennis aside, and I kind of wanted to break one of the house rules, right? Only because we were going to be doing it in a tabletop setup. So it would only ever come into play one time. And I just wanted to see if that one time it being said would at all make a difference on the game. And he's like, you want to play a girl? And I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to play a girl. Like, it's not a transgender thing, right? We just generally prefer you not try to, like, just fuck with people stupidly, right? We kind of just want everybody to be able to assume that the person that they're looking at is the fucking character that's being played. Like, you can do, like, we were fine with costuming if you wanted to do that. We wanted you to be realistic. If you're walking around with red contacts, well, my eyes are always red. That's gonna fucking stand out, dummy. It's called Vampire the Masquerade for a reason. We hide who we are because it's dangerous to be known. Right? So, like, you'd have to do some shit like that. And sometimes people would take it as, like, flaws, and they would wear sunglasses and shit like that, and, that was kind of their bit. And they would either pretend that they're blind, or they would just always have something, I'm just cool. Like, they would do that kind of, I'm just cool. Yeah, I'm a douchebag. Like, that was their character, thing. That was their quirk, and, like, they would play it up. But, we didn't want people to be like, I'm a girl, because that just, it just gets stupid, and people abuse it, and it just turns dumb. And so we just generally go, look, man, we'd like to try to assume that you're assuming the character that you're playing in some way or another, right? We're going to just kind of, features don't fucking matter. We're talking to each other. And so everybody kind of agreed it's fine house rule. And all the guys are like, I don't really want to play a girl anyways. And all the girls are like, I don't really want to play a guy. And we're like, all right, fine. But we're just saying you can't, because fuck it, it's dumb. So that was the thing. And I said, no, I want to break a house rule, though. And he goes, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to say that my character is black. And he goes, why? And I'm like, just to say that my character is black, the one time, just to see how people react to it throughout the course of the game. Because another thing is, nobody ever came up to anybody and said, what does your character look like? Because I look like me. So we all kind of assume we're playing ourselves. So I'm like, I look like me. But I'm like, I just, nobody's ever going to ask me in character. The only time I'm ever going to have a chance to say what my character actually looks like is when we go around and say, describe what all your characters look like. Because we're going to be meeting each other for the first time. It's going to be the Harrowing. We can be bopping in from any timeline, because death works funny like that. When you wake up, you can come from any timeline, right? And I'm like, so I want to just, I'm like, I'll say I'm a black dude from the future where racism is gone. Who fucking cares? Like, whatever. Like, that'll be my fucking character. I'm a black guy from the future. And nobody gives a shit. Like, that'll, like, fine, whatever. Like, that'll be my character. And he's like, because of that, he's like, honestly, I kind of want to see how anybody else reacts to it, too. So I'm like, right. So, that was the thing. I was, however, not the only person who had gotten the thought in their head, I'm going to get to describe my character. Right? Somebody else had that idea. A kid we called Beavis. We called him Beavis because he kind of looked like Beavis. He had a really big fucking forehead, and his hair kind of fucking came up like Beavis. And he looked like Beavis. He didn't have the fucked up teeth and big nose or any of that kind of shit. He didn't have squinty eyes or anything like that. But like his head and his hair looked like Beavis. So we called him Beavis. And he was kind of a douchebag. So, fucking Beavis. He was Beavis. So Beavis also had the idea that he was going to get to describe his character too. Right? So we all sit down. And Dennis says, alright, you all kind of wake up in a circle, like we're sitting, and you see each other. If anybody would like to describe their character, describe your character now. And he pointed to the girl that was next to me. I believe it was a girl sitting next to me. She described her character, right? She's like, oh, I kind of look like myself. And then she was like, except, and then she kind of played around with it a little bit. And then it got around to Beavis. And Beavis goes, my character's a Nazi. And I'm like, your character's a Nazi? And he goes, yes. And I'm like, what does your character look like, though? And he's like, I look like a Nazi. And I'm like, in uniform? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, swastika armband and everything. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, and everybody is just like, Beavis, why the fuck are you a Nazi? And he's like, so I want to play a Nazi. And we're like, alright. And Dennis is like, dude, I'm so tempted to tell you to go fuck yourself and kick you out of my fucking group. And he's like, why? Because I want to play a Nazi? What's wrong with that? And we're all like, because you want to play a Nazi. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, Dennis, like, it's fun. And he's like, yeah, we can just fucking roleplay. We can play whatever we want. And I'm like, it's fine. He's a Nazi. It's fine. He wakes up. I wake up. I see across from me a fucking Nazi. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, alright, that's what happens. And I look at Dennis and I go, can I go next? And I'm like, do you mind if we skip you and I go next? And he goes, are you Jewish? And I'm like, no. And he goes, alright, go ahead. And I look at him and I go, my character's black. And he goes, really? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, and looks at Dennis. And I have to change the fucking battery. Where was I? Oh yeah, I'm black. And Beavis looks at Dennis, and Dennis goes, yes, he actually fucking asked me ahead of time if he can play a black dude. And I go, you're lucky though, Beavis. I'm a black guy from the future, where racism is pretty much gone and nobody gives a shit that I'm a black guy. Because nobody's going to care that I'm a black guy in this game, because I'm white. And he goes, alright. And I said, but you're a Nazi. And I'm a black dude. And while I may be from the future where we're more civilized, I still know what a Nazi is. And he goes, okay, whatever, I don't care, I'm a Nazi. And we're all like, alright, Beavis is a Nazi. So we start going through the Harrowing. Now, I had picked a couple of funny things. I picked amnesia. So I don't have any memory of my life before I was dead. Like, I know things, you know, like it works like amnesia. I don't have a personal history, but I can still speak English. You know, I still know what a Nazi is. But I just don't have any of my own memories, really. I have knowledge, just no memories. And I also picked this other thing. I don't remember what it was called. But what it was a thing that it was mostly like a storyteller tool for the storyteller to help the players out. And it usually kind of went with amnesia. I think it went with amnesia. Like, your memories were replaced. Like, you kept your knowledge, but you lost your memories, and you traded your memories for knowledge of the afterlife. Like, that was kind of the way I worked it out with Dennis. And Dennis is like, all right, so every once in a while I'll just tell you, you know, what that is or what's going on or whatever, and then I can kind of help you to kind of guide everybody through the fucking Harrowing. And I'm like, no problem, because they'd never played Wraith before, and at least I've read the book, you know. So I'm like, no problem. So I took that stuff. So I still knew what a Nazi was, and I knew pretty much everything that was dangerous around us. And I was kind of the guide. So right away the Nazi decides what they're going to do, and he decides that he's going to go over and talk to those nice gentlemen with the sickles that are, you know, opening up these big gooey sacks and pulling out things. And I said, we should go ahead and let him do that. And everybody else was like, alright, fine. I'm like, you go ahead, talk to him, ask him what the fuck's up. And he's like, alright, I will. And he says that his character turns and walks away. And I'm like, we need to fucking start running right now. And they're all like, what? And I'm like, those are Reapers. What they do is they collect souls, like what you're seeing them do right now. They collect us, weaker versions of themselves. And they sell them to stronger, more powerful versions of them, and they take those souls and turn them into things. And I don't want to be a thing for eternity, so, because there's some really shitty things to be, so let's not do that. And so I turned around and started running. And everybody else started running with me. And Beavis heard us running, and he turned and saw us running. And the Reapers heard us running and saw Beavis and began chasing Beavis, who was chasing us, technically. So we're running like a motherfucker, right? And Beavis fucking is catching up to us, and so are the Reapers. It pissed me off a little bit. Beavis had fucking more physical traits than I thought he would. He was Nazi. And so I look at Dennis, and I'm like, Dennis, I'm looking for a weapon. I'm thinking something like a club, like a stick, a good, hefty stick, right? And he goes, oh, I'm sure you'll find something like that. And I'm like, I would like to try and grab one on the run. And he's like, all right. So we test it out. I win. I am now armed. That is my turn. We're into turns now. You know, things are happening so fast, we're actually taking turns. So this is why we did it in a kind of a sit-down formation. So, you know, we're taking our turns. Everybody's just kind of, I'm running like fucking crazy, you know, and we're doing tests to not trip and shit like that. And so I got my club now. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, what I'm going to do is, and he goes, what? I said, I'm going to turn around real quick and chuck it at Beavis's, well, I'm going to chuck it at the Nazi's legs. And Dennis goes, and everybody else goes, and Beavis goes, fuck you. And I said, look, motherfucker, I know things about the afterlife that you don't fucking know. And one of the things I know is we don't have to run faster than the Reapers. We just got to run faster than the Nazi. And so me and Beavis did our test against each other, because it was going to be a static test for me to just turn and flip and fucking throw it. And I was going to have to do like 2 to kind of stay on balance and everything and actually get the fucking head off. Dennis was being, really rough on me. He was going to make me win 2 tests. He was going to throw a rock every time. But, whatever. No, we didn't do that shit, actually. So, I was just really good. So, he was going to make me do 2 tests. Beavis said, fuck that, I'm going to jump over it. And we went, alright. So Dennis decided now it's a contest of, skill, my character against his. So it's me against him. Once. And he's like, well, you have to do 2 tests. And Dennis is like, well, he's going to do a test against me. And then to hit you, he's going to do a test against you. And, oh, okay. Did my test against Dennis. I win. Did my test against Beavis. I win. The Nazi goes down. The Reapers take the Nazi, and the rest of the party made it through our harrowing. And we're here to the campus, right? And Dennis goes, I'm sorry, Beavis. Looks like you can't be a Wraith. Go and find somebody else to play with. And Beavis had to go away. And I had a lot of fun in that game, actually. It didn't last for very long. It was pretty much that night. And I had a lot of fun in it. It's difficult when you're playing as a Wraith. There's very few people that can see you. And there's very few ways that you can interact with them. But it was a lot of fun. Kind of pantomiming things to people and explaining to them how I died. Well, explaining to them that I don't know how I died. But that I do know a whole lot about what's going on around me. And I wound up running into somebody that could actually see me and could actually speak to me and could actually understand me. And he just pumped me for information about the Wraith world like crazy. And it amounted to fucking nothing to him because all I knew was what Dennis was going to feed me. Dennis wasn't there to feed me anything. So I just kind of picked and chose myself what I did and didn't know. Because it's like, you're trying to recall knowledge that you don't know you have. So either the question jogs that knowledge, that fucking thought, or you don't know. So I decided what I wanted to give him. And whatever. I was a fucking storyteller. I don't know, that's how I fucking roleplayed the ability. So yeah, it was a fun night. That was a fun game. But yeah, man, I got fucking gaming stories with that group for days. For days, I got stories with that group. Maybe take an intermission every once in a while. Every once in a while, I do like to do story time type shit. I don't know how long it's been since the last time I did like a real story time like this. Every once in a while, I like to do it. I got shit that I'm working on though. I'm kind of delaying by doing this too. I want there to be kind of a break between the seasons of the president, right? That was a great fucking season finale. Now we go into the next season, and it's going to start with what the fuck happens in Iowa, like that, right? Well, it's going to start other ways, but I'm going to get into this shit again tomorrow. We're going to take on fucking the Nobel Peace Prize again. But yeah, so and then I think I'm going to actually, tomorrow's Friday, so I might take the weekend off. And then they'll give you some more time to think about it. And then Monday I'll probably get into the thing that I teased like fucking 2 weeks ago. Before everything fucking fell apart in my life. But yeah, so next Monday will be pretty interesting. I think tomorrow will be pretty interesting. And hopefully this was entertaining for you. I know it's really long, but sometimes you guys beg for that shit. And sometimes you do nothing but bitch. You're fickle. And I can't please everybody, so this is a long one. But hopefully it was a good story. Have a good day.